Proud and mighty, Dzong, the fortress of the former monarch of this region, rises above Gyang Tse, the third largest city in Tibet. This fortress once accommodated the governor of the district and was the region's administrative center. Despite certain obligations, the Dzong monarch was relatively independent and was permitted to rule this region and its inhabitants. The history of Gyang Tse began with the construction of the Dzong fortress in 1365. The special importance of this fortification is also indicated by its name that means highest royal fortress. The view from Dzong extends far across the old town of Gyang Tse and the nearby monastery district of Kumbum Chörten. The surroundings form a dramatic backdrop. The city was conveniently located at the junction of the most important trading routes to Lhasa from Nepal, India and Bhutan, and thus provided its population with a reasonable income. Part of the old town in the east of the Gyang Tse contains mainly old farm buildings that have retained their original rural character right up to the present day. The people here live in humble conditions. The picturesque lanes of the town give the very real impression that time has stood still. For centuries, Gyang Tse was Tibet's main center for wool and weaving products. But since the borders were closed in 1959, much has changed here. The streets of the old town have a rural atmosphere, dominated by the mighty Dzong fortress. The town has a population of 20,000. This area exudes serenity and calm. Compared to the Dzong fortress, the monastery complex of Kumbum Chörten is at total odds, yet this contrast adds to the splendor of Gyang Tse. Of Tibet's original 16 monasteries, only 2 survived China's Cultural Revolution. Particularly well known is the Sakyapa Academy Monastery that managed to survive the revolution. Only a handful of buildings serve to remind of the golden days of Tibet's monasteries in Gyang Tse. Several of them have been destroyed. Soglak Hang, the main meeting hall for each of the monastic communities of Kumbum Chörten, dates back to 1418. In contrast to the monastery district's other meeting halls, this building is of simpler form, a fact that adds to its captivating appearance. The many protective deities that inhabit this place create an atmosphere of mystique. The dramatic and cruel images in the Lakhang, the room of the protective deities in Soglak Hang's main hall, are quite unusual in Lamaist iconography. The side chapels are magnificently furnished, with Buddhist sanctuaries, numerous deities, and ancient texts. The Soglak Hang was originally worshipped in as a sanctuary of the Sakyapa doctrine, but today the central 3-story high meeting hall is used by the Gelugpa monks. The large and priceless library highlights the significance of the monastery district of Gyang Tse. Despite its unique place in Tibetan Buddhism, daily life continues here quite normally, along with the sound of the constantly turning prayer mills. One of the biggest monuments in Tibetan architecture is the unique Kumbum Chörten. It's a three-dimensional mandala that can be entered. Eyes decorate the upper part of the stupa. When following the traditional ritual walk through the Kumbum Chörten, one passes symbolically through the entire Buddhist journey of salvation and into Nirvana. The journey begins on the lowest level with simple deities, then follows the entire Pantheon of Tibet, immortalised by both sculptures and wall paintings. A large number of the paintings were created by Nepalese artists. Most of the works are still in their original condition. In contrast to the wall paintings, the many sculptures of Kumbum Chörten were either damaged or destroyed during the Cultural Revolution. Both the original and restored sacred works of art are located in various shrines within the 9-story Kumbum. The lowermost story consists of 4 main and 16 side chapels. Now the meaning of the sanctuary as being the Chörten of the 100,000 pictures becomes obvious. A total of 68 chapels are situated within the first 4 stories of the Kumbum, and each is furnished with impressive sacred treasures and deities. The influence of Nepal is not only indicated by the actual wall paintings, the sanctuary itself was designed by a Nepalese architect. Following a sacred number in Buddhism, the Kumbum Chörten contains 108 chapels. Everything in this building has a special significance. The uppermost room of the 32-meter-high sanctuary is dedicated to Adi Buddha, in Buddhist doctrine, the genesis of all living beings. From the roof, the view reaches across the entire monastery district of Kumbum Chörten that is still surrounded by a protective wall. Seeing the lavish decoration of the sanctuary's many sacred works of art, the former importance of Kumbum Chörten is plain to see. Today, in the old Tibetan trading town of Gyang Tse, the all-seeing eyes of Buddha continue to watch over the Kumbum, as well as the welfare of the faithful.